doing a lot of thinking as I read the paper these days. Where does violence come from? What's its origin? Now our first reading of the Book of Wisdom talks about violence, and the violence that is frequently done to the just man. And we read about violence all the time. Of course, there's obviously the global violence that's happening, but then there's domestic violence, and there's violence in our cities, violence in our own city, violence around. We see it in our homes. We see it in ourselves in outbursts of anger. Where does it come from? About 30 years ago, our bishops wrote two pastorals in particular. One at the end of the 1970s, and one at the beginning of the 1980s. One on peace and the other on the economy. And they got a lot of fire because people were saying, why are our bishops talking about that? And other people saying, thank God our bishops are talking about that. So you get all kinds of different things. But in the one on peace, they said that peace begins in the heart of each individual. And that when a person is at peace with themselves, they are then able to be at peace with the people they live with. And when they're at peace with the people they live with, they're able to be at peace with the people they live next to. And then it begins to radiate out. But that peace of heart is the first step in global peace. And in the letter on the economy, they called us to an economy that was not based on greed. Neither of those were messages that we wanted to hear, because both of those were messages that caused us, or that called us to change. I think we all like to believe that we are people of peace, or we are a peaceful people. And yet, I wonder, what if you were told that today your family will die unless you take a gun and kill the family next door? Would you do it? In fact, it's a tactic that terrorists use all the time. Many of us are old enough to remember the war in Rwanda 20 years ago. That is exactly the tactic that was happening. As people, even priests and nuns and ministers, attacked their neighbors with machetes in order to preserve the people that they loved. Would you do it? It's a challenge to each of us. Because in the gospel today, even the apostles, as they're walking with Jesus, are arguing about, well, who's going to be the greatest? I mean, here we are, we're the 12. We're the ones, we're the special ones. We get called. Aren't we better than all the others? Aren't we better than the 72? Aren't we better than the ones who aren't following Jesus? And of the 12 of us, who's the best? Who gets to sit at the right and the left of Jesus? A favorite theme of Mark is that the apostles don't get it. The apostles, right all the way up to the cross, don't understand what it means for him to be Messiah and what it means for them to be believers, disciples. And it's constantly a challenge to us. What does it take for us to get it? What about those challenges in our life? Maybe we won't be asked to slaughter somebody else. But there will be challenges to the things that we think we hold dear. There will be challenges. I think most of us sitting here will say, well, I'm a pretty peaceful person. I wouldn't kill anybody. Would we? I don't know. As I sit and reflect on my own life, I wonder, what are the things that would cause me to do things that I don't believe in? And what am I willing to give up in order to hold on to what I believe or to what I hold valuable? I don't know where those limits are. Some of them have been tried and tested. I know where some of them are. But I'm sure there's others out there that I'm still going to be tested on. I think the only thing that keeps any of us safe in all of this is our firm commitment to live the gospel. Because today, and if not today, then tomorrow, the challenge will be there. How will we respond? I don't know. But I hope it's in accord with the gospel.